Guys, welcome to today's video. Today I am doing my weekly meal prep. This helps me be on track and get ready for the upcoming work and school week. These are things that are like grab and go breakfast, lunches, and I'm prepping stuff for dinners I'm going to make throughout the week. So this is something new that I've started to do, and it is my favorite thing. So things that just would take a little bit longer during the week, or I may forget to do, and then the meal's kind of not going to be ready when we want to eat dinner. So I prep some stuff that I can then use throughout the week when I'm cooking dinner. So I'm also doing a couple things that I can throw in the freezer for future weeks. So kind of doing a mix mash of stuff, but I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I will link all the recipes that I am using and anything that I kind of adjust down below in the description. I would appreciate if you give this video a thumbs up, and if you're not already, hit that subscribe button so I know you guys like this kind of content. All right, so on the agenda today, and honestly what I do is I go through my pantry, I see if there's any ingredients, meats, or anything that we need to utilize, and then I kind of build it off that. I have various cookbooks. I try to follow a very high protein diet from day to day, and I don't even want to say diet, I just a lifestyle really. So a lot of my dinners come from the company called Stay Fit Mom. I'm actually making 2 dinners this week from their meal prep video. I will link both of the recipes down below. And then also, yeah, so just like looking through the ingredients, we just got a lot of cow meat delivered. And so I'm going to start incorporating a lot of that in because we have a lot of meat. Or on the menu this week is shepherd's pie with caramelized onions. I saw this recipe being made on the channel Becky at Acre Homestead. She does a lot of freezer cooking, so I do think you could freeze this. So I'm gonna make it this week for dinner one night, but next time I may double or even triple it and freeze a couple as well. So I had a ton of onions in my pantry that I needed to use, and so that was great to do for caramelized onion. And then shepherd's pie is ground, well, it can be ground lamb, ground beef, and then mashed potatoes. So I'm gonna prep the caramelized onion and mashed potatoes today. So then all that I have to do is cook the ground beef, assemble it, and bake it. And then I am gonna get the beef out of the freezer, so that's defrosted when we need it this week. I'm gonna make white chicken enchilada bowls. That is from the Stay Fit Mom cookbook. They're high protein. So for that, I'm gonna cook some chicken in the Instapot, and I'm gonna cook more than I need, so then I have extra chicken to freeze. So that will be something I can use another week. Beef stroganoff, that is from the Stay Fit Mom book as well. It uses shredded beef instead of, like, I think I've seen it with ground beef or chunks of beef. So we're gonna do shredded beef stroganoff. So I also need to pull out a beef roast from the freezer so that can defrost. That I don't think I'm prepping anything today except taking that out of the freezer. We're also gonna have Marry Me chicken with pasta. I have been making that chicken almost weekly at this point. It is so good and so easy to make. That I don't need to prep anything for, but I like to write it down for when I get groceries. But for that, I actually don't need any groceries. I have everything we need. We're gonna have pizza one night. I don't need to meal prep for that either. I did try a meal prep pizza dough where you make it and keep it in the fridge, and it was okay. I like the pizza dough I make better where you make it. I normally make it around lunchtime, and then it's ready for dinner that evening. I'm gonna make 2 types of muffins. I'm gonna make blueberry oatmeal muffins. Those are my go-to. They're so good. I'm gonna make a double batch, so I have some for this week for breakfast, and then I'm gonna freeze some for another week's breakfast. And then my son has been asking me to make these birthday cake muffins. They're the copycat of the Entenmann's, like, little birthday muffins. I'm gonna try to make a healthier version of those. I'm trying to see what else. Just some little side notes that I have. So I need to make black beans. Obviously I could just use canned black beans. Those are gonna go with our chicken enchilada bowls, but I want to cook them in the Instapot. I did that for a meal prep a while ago where you cook dry black beans, and I have a ton of dry beans. They're a lot cheaper, they're a lot easier to store, and you basically just like salt. I use chicken stock, and then you leave like a whole onion in there so it flavors it really well, but there's not actual onion in there. So I'm gonna cook those to add with the chicken enchilada bowls, and then I'm gonna use the Instapot as well for shredded chicken. So that is what we're doing, and I hope you guys enjoy today's video. So here's the beginning parts of today's meal prep. This is just my rough what I need to do. I needed to get some extra groceries, so those will be delivered soon. And I've started prep on a few things. So I'm soaking the oats for our blueberry oatmeal muffins. I've made these a ton of times. You do have to soak these oats in milk for the recipe. So that is what I'm starting. I have eggs and butter softening out. I also have chopped and I'm starting to caramelize these onions. This is going to be for the caramelized onion shepherd's pie. These take quite a bit, so I just want to get these started. Because I'll be in here, I can watch them and stir them every so often. Alright, we're going to start doing the blueberry oatmeal muffins. I've made these plenty of times. I will link the recipe down below. I am, though, going to add some of my sourdough discard into these. I'll probably use a 1/4 cup to actually I'm doubling this. So I'm going to use a 1/2 cup of sourdough discard, and then I use maple syrup instead of honey. And I am doubling this recipe. So I'm making 24 muffins because that's how many blueberries we have to do. Anytime you want to add like your sourdough discard or starter, you can just sub it for some of the flour amount and some of the liquid amount. So I'll play around with it. This muffin recipe is pretty forgiving, so we'll add some of that in there. Muffins are in the oven, the onions are still caramelizing, and then next up I'm getting the black beans in the Instapot. So it's just black beans, chicken broth, salt, water, and an onion. So I'm going to let those cook. Alright, next up I'm going to try to make, you know those like funfetti muffins? I'm going to try to make my own recipe of them. But I'm going to probably sub some ingredients because I want to use some cake flour instead of just all-purpose. And then I'm also going to add some protein powder to try to get these a little bit more nutritious. We have rainbow sprinkles, vanilla. So I think I'm going to try. I'll post what recipe I follow and then what I changed on it. And then I think too, I'm going to do maple syrup instead of sugar. So I'm going to do this and then get these made and ready for the oven once the other muffins are done. Alright, so I just got these two things out of the deep freezer. This is the ground beef for the shepherd's pie, so that will need to be defrosted. And then this is a sirloin tip roast, which I'm going to put in the Instapot for shredded beef. But I'm not doing these two today. These are going to defrost and I'll do those during the week, but at least they're out and ready to go. Alright, quick update. So all the blueberry muffins are done, so there's 24 blueberry oatmeal muffins. I'm going to put 12 out. We're going to have some for breakfast today, this week, and then I'm going to freeze 12. These are the birthday cake muffins, and I have another pan in the oven as well. They just came out, but they seem good. They're super hot, so hopefully I did enough so they don't stick to the pan, and hopefully they're good. They smell good. The onions are just about done, the caramelized onions. Isn't that crazy how this pan was full of onions? This is about 5 giant onions, and this is all the caramelized onions that end up happening. And then I have 3 minutes left on the Instapot beans, so I'm going to wrap this up. I have the meat defrost, or the meat for the fridge I need to put in the fridge. I need to clean up the dishes, and then I'm waiting for the groceries. So once I get the groceries, I'm going to do the Instapot chicken for dinner tonight, which is the white chicken enchiladas, and then I'm also going to just cook extra to freeze. Okay, so everything is cooling. We have the muffins, and then these are the rest of the birthday cake ones. So most of them came out pretty easy. I think it was the pan. I don't know why. One of my pans was just weird, even though I grease them the same way. So we have like 70 of the birthday cake muffins that are so good. So I highly recommend these, and I will put my notes in the recipe of what I subbed out, but there's no like added sugar besides maple syrup. They're protein packed, which is awesome, and kid approved. The black beans are done, which is for dinner tonight and some lunches this week. And then the caramelized onions are done, and that will be for dinner tomorrow night for the caramelized onion shepherd's pie. So this part is done. We just had a quick breakfast. I made some cottage bacon. Groceries are about to be here, and then I will show you guys the grocery haul, and then we'll finish up what we're doing for this week. All right, groceries just got delivered. I got the muffins cleaned up too. So those are all the ones we're keeping out this week, and then I'm freezing the rest. But this is the grocery order. So this is just fill-in for this meal prep. I went through our pantry, figured out what we needed. So I got green chilies and salsa verde for the enchiladas tonight. I just ran out of garlic powder, so I got more. I think the original birthday cake muffin recipe I was looking at called for applesauce, but I picked a different one. So I'll just save this for another recipe. I've been wanting to make applesauce cake, so I'll probably use that. This is for the enchiladas tonight, some tortillas, broccoli, which will go with the beef stroganoff, poblano peppers, which I'm going to use in the enchiladas tonight, and then zucchini I can cook up maybe with the shepherd's pie. We'll have that as our vegetable, not just like on the side. Potatoes, I'm going to make mashed potatoes for the shepherd's pie. Over here I got 3 packs of boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I'm going to put one of these in the fridge. This will be for a chicken, the Marry Me chicken. I'm going to make later on this week. And then the other 2 packs I'm going to cook in the Instant Pot to have shredded chicken for the enchiladas and for another meal. This cream cheese is for the enchiladas, and so is the mozzarella cheese. I got some freeze-dried garlic. I've never used this, but figured it might be nice to try. And then I got some more of the Fairlife milk, and then I got a case of biscuits because in the freezer I have leftover chicken pot pie filling, so I figured I could just put that in a pot or in a pan and then put these on top and bake it like an easy casserole. So that is the grocery order, and then I still need to clean up the kitchen and then start cooking the chicken in the Instapot. So this is a good example of why I do this. I don't like peeling potatoes at all, and so if I left this task to a day during the week, I would very easily be like, no, I don't want to do that. And then that leads to like eating out or, making something that's maybe not as healthy or nutritious. So doing stuff like this really sets me up for the week. I still have to make the full meal together, but at least this part is done. The mashed potato part is done. I'll only have to cook the ground beef, and then I can assemble the shepherd's pie. I do want to know, have any of you ever done mashed potatoes, make a bunch and then freeze them? Do they freeze well? I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out, because that would be nice to do this part, but for a bunch of different meals, to just have a bunch of frozen mashed potatoes in the freezer. I may try that, but if you've done that before, let me know if that works. But again, this is something that, yes, I spend half of my day on a weekend doing all this, but I am so thankful for it during the week, because we get to have home cooked meals all week long that don't take me hours to make, not a ton of cleanup. It's pretty easy. All right, so dishes are done. I just used that bowl for making the potatoes, which I'll show you, but all the other dishes are washed, dishwasher's running. The chicken has 8 minutes left in here. And then the last other thing I'm doing is the mashed potatoes for the shepherd's pie. So I'm going to make the mashed potatoes today, but then that will be for dinner tomorrow night. So those are going. And then we're almost done with today's meal prep for the week. Potatoes are done. They're just cooling down, and then so is all this chicken. So I'm going to use what I need for dinner tonight from this bag of chicken. It's like 2.5 pounds. And then I'll freeze the rest of it for a dinner next week. All right, guys, so it wasn't like a full day meal prep. I tried to do something that would be easy to do every single weekend, and I do try to do something like this every single weekend before the busy week starts. I set myself up for success for the week. So I have breakfast items. I have the blueberry oatmeal muffins, I have the birthday cake muffins, and I also have extras of both of those that are in my freezer now. I have the black beans that I cooked in the Instapot. We're going to eat some of those tonight with dinner with our chicken enchilada bowls, but I'll have extra as well, so that will be easy to have for a lunch this week. We're gonna have shepherd's pie for dinner this week. So for that, I prepared the caramelized onions and mashed potatoes. So both of those are now in the fridge. And then all I'll have to do is cook the ground beef, and that I took out of the freezer, so that's defrosting. So that will be ready to cook, assemble it. That will be a super easy dinner. The white chicken enchilada bowls, I am making that for dinner tonight, but not for a few more hours. So I already cooked the chicken for that. And then those are really easy to assemble with the rest of the ingredients and then just bake. And then that will be a good protein dinner for tonight, and then leftovers for lunch. Beef stroganoff, I did not need to prep anything today for that. I did take the roast that I'm going to make for the shredded beef. That is defrosting as well. So that day I will cook that in the Instapot. So that's actually pretty easy to do. And then you just cook noodles and make the sauce. So that one's also a pretty easy dinner to just throw together. I didn't do any prep, but I could have. I could have prepped more and had the roast ready to cook, and then that part would have been done. And then I do have pizza and Marry Me chicken as well and other recipes, but I didn't really need to do any prep for, but I have all the ingredients. So that was what the little grocery haul was, just to make sure I have everything we need for the rest of the week. So I feel good going into this week. I feel like I have healthy, high protein options for breakfast, lunches, and dinners using stuff I've prepared, and kind of making some things easier on myself. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and thanks so much for watching. Bye guys.